Thank you all for coming. It's almost 5. I'm going to open the meeting. And I believe you're both here for your case, and I know Erin is here for hers. So at this point, we don't have any visitors. I presume our public comments are all for your applications. And I don't have any additions to the agenda, but a little housekeeping. I don't know if you noticed, I sent you an email. You are on the agenda tomorrow night because you have to go from being an alternate to what's referred to as a regular.
Okay.
So you can become the vice chair.
Okay.
So that's on the agenda tomorrow night for them to move you. And then our first meeting in July, we can do that appointment. The other thing, housekeeping, I just wanted to be sure that everyone is aware, next Monday, the Planning Commission has a public hearing on many changes to the ordinance. There is a report which outlines exactly every change and every article.
Okay.
I mean, there's red line too, but you just looking at the report gives you enough info.
Is that on the town website?
It should be.
But that's next Monday at 5.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. I believe Diane is not with us. Do we need to do anything to let her in or anything? I can't see from here. Does it say anything about somebody waiting in the waiting room? We shouldn't have a waiting room.
No, there's only one participant. That would be us. Yeah.
Huh, okay, well, maybe she's,
It's
maybe
just
she's
now
late.
5 o'clock right now.
She might be, I mean, we will not be able to do Erin without her.
1, 2.
You're recusing.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
We can't do Erin without her. I will.
Never gonna get my phone.
Yeah.
She'll probably be gone in a minute. I have to go.
Excuse me while I check on one of our members who's supposed to be on Zoom.
Since we have time, I got a letter, an email from John Lozelle, which is too late to add to your packets. You want copies?
For what?
It's for 103.
For Boyd Hill?
No,
Or for
103.
And John Lozelle, he basically says she's fine.
We can, I mean, give them to Erin and she can, when she comes up, she can add them as exhibits. Or you can add them as
You brought one
exhibits.
idea, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't, whoever can add them as exhibits, you can or she can. Let me just check with Diane.
I just didn't know if you guys want a hard copy or not.
I'm sure John will.
All right, let me go make this.
Just one, and it's on the same list as the
Okay.
I just sent her a text.
Okay.
Because we can't do Erin without her. These green service center pens fall apart. I have to talk to John about the quality of
They're
the
not a high quality.
giveaways, right? My apologies, we just have to wait for another member to join us to have a sufficient quorum.
I'll give you a larger copy.
Sorry.
Nope, she says she is lucky.
Oh, good.
Thank you.
What?
This is for Erin.
This is from John.
Yeah, it was for her.
There you are.
There you are.
Yeah,
Can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Thank you. We have begun. Now I'm just waiting for requesting someone to make a motion to approve the minutes, please.
So moved.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, Cheryl, aye.
Crystal.
I.
Thank you. We're good. All right. So Aaron, if you'd like to come up to the center table, we are going to open the hearing on application 2025-077 and 079. The property address is 103 West Main Street. The owner is 103 West Main dash 2022 LLC. Post Office Box 217, West Orange, New Jersey, 07052, and the agent is Aaron Robinson. The proposal is a change of use from bakery to pottery retail, pottery manufacturing, and pottery service business with classes to the public. And there's a sign permit, and it is in the Village District. The applicable code sections are Article 2, Section 221, 222, 223, 224, 226, 227, 229, 233, 240, 246, 271, and 272. Article 4, Section 420, 440, 450B, and I am removing 460 because, yeah, that should not have been there. And Section 7, Article 7, Section 710, 720, 721, 722, 730, A, D, and H. And Article 8, Section 803, 830, 831, 832, 833, 850, and 870. Crystal has recused herself from this. I want to be sure there are no other conflicts of interest or ex parte discussions.
None.
No.
No.
Thank you, Diane. Thank you. And Aaron, would you please raise your right hand? Do you swear the testimony you provide is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Thank you so much. So we have one of our members as a case manager for each one of our cases, and John Gannon is your case manager.
Hi, Aaron.
How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
So the first thing I'm going to do is just read through the exhibits that we have. And if you should have everything, but if you note something missing, let me know. Exhibit 1 is Town of Wilmington Zoning Permit Staff Report. Exhibit 2 is the Town of Wilmington cover sheet. Exhibit 3 is the Town of Wilmington warning. Exhibit 4 is application for change of use. It's 12 pages, so that will include your site plans and your photos and everything. Exhibit 5 is your application for a sign permit, which is 4 pages. Exhibit 6 is your service list. And what we got this evening, Exhibit 7 is emails between you and John Rozelle about wastewater.
Yes.
Or anything else?
I don't believe.
Okay, great. Do you want to briefly tell us what this project's about?
Yeah, so I'm a potter, and my next venture is doing a pottery studio here in town. I think it'd be great for the town. So there's going to be classes either from 9 to noon or from 5 to 8. And then in the middle, people are going to be able to practice their skills in pottery stuff. And then there's going to be like a small section, like just a couple of shelves of retail. That's not really what I'm concentrating on.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be making my own there too.
Okay.
It's just pretty much classes.
Okay, great.
And paint and sips also. So I guess that's not just pottery classes, but people coming in groups and being able to paint a cup
Oh, paint.
Yeah.
Okay.
and sip.
We're not sipping though, because you don't have a liquor license.
No, but I think if you BYOB, I wouldn't be bringing anything. It would be them.
Thank you.
Great, thanks for that. Oh, and you're also proposing signs, correct?
Yes.
You want to just go briefly into that?
It's just a sign exactly the same size as the one before at the bakery in the front, and then a smaller one just above the door on the side door.
So freestanding
A
sign,
freestanding sign, and then one above the door for
customer entrance sign.
Yeah.
Good. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through the various zoning articles and ask you questions, get information from you with expect those. So the first place we're going to start, and you don't have much to do here, is our administrative procedures. Have you gotten a copy of our administrative procedures?
I'm possibly, if you could refresh that.
So, our administrative procedures just explain this hearing tonight.
Okay.
We're a quasi judicial body. We sit here, we make a decision about your application. We write a written decision, either approving or not approving your application or partially approving it. You have a right to appeal if you don't like our decision. So that's what the administrative procedures are. If an abutter was here, which there is not, they could testify as well. Do you have any questions about our administrative procedures?
Yeah.
Okay, great. The next article is Article 4, Districts and its Uses. And so you are in the Village District, which is Section 450B. And the property is identified on the tax map as 20-20-41. That's on your application. And you've already explained what you want. You're seeking a change of use from a bakery to a retail business, which is the pottery sales, service business, which is the pottery classes, and manufacturing, which is pottery production, which are conditional uses in the Village District. And so that's why you're before the DRB, is so that we can approve or disapprove those. So now we're going to go to Article 7, which I will be asking you a lot of questions about. First, we're going to start with Section 710, which are use performance standards. And so the first use performance standard asks, are there going to be any continuous, permanent, ongoing, or frequent vibration that is discernible at the property line?
No.
Okay, great. The next is about noise. Will there be any continuous, permanent, ongoing, or frequent noise in excess of that of a normal conversation at the property line?
No.
That can be heard at the property line?
No.
Okay. All right. Air emissions for commercial operations. So this may, tie into your manufacturing of pottery. So there shall be no emission of dust, ash, smoke, or other particulate matter that can cause damage to human or animal health, vegetation, or property by reason of concentration or toxicity, contaminate the property or beyond the property boundaries, have solid or liquid particulates in concentrations exceeding state standards, or cause odorous matter in quantities to be offensive.
No.
None? Okay. So just for my edification and for the other members of the DRB, how do your kilns work?
They're electric kilns, and there's nothing chemical in them for them to emit anything. It's sand and water, really.
Okay.
I mean, I don't have chemicals that would, there's a vent that goes out, so it's warm, but it's not super hot. It's not like.
So they're vented?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So next is D, which is similar to C, which is injurious or noxious practices. No operation or use shall create electromagnetic, liquid, or solid refuse or waste, heat, cold, dampness, explosive, fire, glare, or other hazard which will cause injury or damage to human or animal health, vegetation, or property. Are you doing anything like that?
No.
Great. All right. So Section 721 goes through the general standards, which means the proposed use shall protect against adverse effects on, municipal or education facilities. I don't think you're having any impact on education or municipal services. Impact on traffic or roads. I don't think there's going to be any more impact than the bakery.
No.
Well, that doesn't, air quality, we've already sort of discussed air quality with respect to the kilns. I don't think you're ever doing anything else that could impact air quality. Is that correct?
No, correct.
Yeah. You're not really changing the outside of the building other than putting up the two signs, which are very similar in size to the signs that were already there. So there's really no changes to the exterior of the building. And so it really doesn't impact the scenic value of the area any more than the bakery did, correct?
Correct.
Great. So now we're going to go to Section 722, conditional use preserving the character of the town. Land development and uses in all districts shall preserve the character of the town consistent with the rural and agricultural heritage conforming to the following: preservation of the town's character, economic development contributing to the character of the town, Development consistent with rural, agricultural, and historic nature of the town. Well, you're not a formula business, so we'll skip over that one. Maximum square, we don't. So, I mean, you're not, your pottery business is gonna fit right into the character of the town. And its historic nature, do you think? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Right next to wood, right next
I
door.
know.
Yeah.
I talked to them for a little collaboration.
Okay. So now we're going to go to section 730, which are specific standards. And we're not going to cover them all, but we are going to cover a couple of them. The first one we're going to cover is 730A, which is lighting and glare. Now, I know from your application that you're not proposing any new lighting.
No,
Um,
there is a light. I noticed the other day, there's a light, there's like canister lights, I think they're called, and there's one missing above the door. I didn't know if I could put that back up, 'cause it's supposed to be there, or if that's down on purpose, but I'm gonna talk to
Where is it missing?
it's right above the side door.
So it's on the building?
It's on the building, but the actual canister light isn't on there. I didn't know if that was supposed to be because,
No, as long as
Okay.
it's downcast.
Yeah,
Downcast and
okay.
shielded.
but,
Is it downcast and shielded?
yeah,
Yeah, as long as that, then,
okay,
yeah, you can definitely do that.
yeah, all right.
Now, the only question I had here was about the lighting of the sign, the freestanding sign. I think from your application, you said the lights were at the bottom of the sign going
Yeah,
up.
they go, it's the same one as the bakery has. They go out and then they shine up
Up?
and onto the,
So they can't shine up though.
oh, okay. They're there now, so I just take them off.
Well, you're gonna have to have something, so you're gonna have to put something on the top that's downcast.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So I guess we didn't realize that there was a light on the bakery that was shining up.
Mhm.
They weren't on?
They
So,
work,
so you'll
so-
have to figure out some way to replace those,
Yeah,
to put something on the top that is downcast.
okay,
Jessica can help you if you need any assistance, but that's it, just, it has to be downcast.
okay.
So it has to
It's
come,
probably there before. We've got a lot around town, like the White House, now that shine up, but they were there pre-existing, so.
Right.
If you're a new sign,
well, there's nothing that was pre-existing because we gave the permit for the bakery.
well, I mean.
So,
it's
yeah.
There though, but I don't know how long it's been since they've been
Well,
used.
they may be something from back in Mary Wright's Gallery Day or something, but they can't be used.
Okay.
You'll have to get some downcast, please.
Okay. So now we're going to move on to parking. All commercial parking and loading areas in all districts in town shall adhere to the following standards. Parking spaces are required. Size of parking spaces, they have to be a minimum of 10 feet by 18 feet. Minimum number of spaces depends on the use. And so you have three uses: retail, manufacturing, and service business. And I believe you have 5 parking spaces, is that correct?
Yes, but then while classes are happening, no, we're not gonna be manufacturing or having other classes, so the max amount of people who are gonna be in there for a class is 5.
Right. And just
4.
one of the things is with respect, so number of parking spaces determined by square footage for retail. So your retail area, from what I could see from your site plan, was it shelves, correct?
Yeah, like 4 shelves and
It's like a very small
yeah,
component of your overall space, which is actually fairly large.
yeah.
But how big of,
It's less than probably 12 feet and then 4 shelves, 12 feet long, if that, honestly,
okay,
small.
so you basically need 1 parking space for every 200 square feet. 200 square feet is a fairly large number.
Yeah.
I think that, given what you just said, that you need 1 parking space. Okay, so then manufacturing, you need 1 parking space per employee per shift. I mean, you have 5 spaces, so there's 2.
Are you the only employee?
Yeah. And then I talked to the bowl people and they said during like, that I could use their space after 5 or 6, whenever they close.
You said 6 in your
6,
application.
yeah, 6.
That's after they close. So that would be your nighttime class?
Yeah, they said around, they're like, you can do it at 5, but I'm like, I'll just make sure it's at 6 just in case.
Do you have a written agreement or anything, or?
No,
Okay,
just, I went in and chatted with
How many people do you expect in a
Per
class?
class, 4.
Four.
4 at first, possibly 5. Like I might go to 5 depending on if I can handle 4.
So just tell them to carpool,
Okay.
right? You got
Um,
4 parking spaces, carpool.
Yeah.
so the next section is wastewater and potable water, which I did have some questions about, but thankfully you provided Exhibit 7, which answers my questions, which that is there, that you have plenty of allocation. And so there's no real issue with respect to wastewater. So I really don't have to ask you a lot of questions about that.
Perfect.
So do you have a bathroom?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure about that, because I assumed there was one in the bakery, but
Yeah.
you know, who knows, right?
I don't know if it's public, but this is, yeah, really.
Yeah, but you would need to have that
Yeah.
for your classes.
Mhm.
So now we're going to move on to your application for signs. So there's a number, you know, this is part of Article 8 signs, and there's a number of different requirements. First of all, Section 832 deals with the number of signs that you're allowed. You're proposing 2 signs, which is squarely within Section 832, so that's not a problem. Then 833 is the size of the signs. There, I do have a question with you. The sign, the structure mounted sign over your entrance, that's, what was it, 4? What did I write down? That one is like 4x8 or 2x8. It's within the square footage. So that
Oh,
one's,
right, yeah, it's gonna be much smaller than that.
that one was fine. I was just a little confused about the freestanding sign because you provided 2 different measurements in your
There's, so
application.
I know, I confused that too. So there is a measurement from the bottom of the, like where it stands.
Right.
And then the size of the sign. So the sign's the smaller one.
Right, and so the sign is 30 inches by 75 inches.
That sounds, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah,
Okay, that's within the square footage, that's fine. All right, I just wanted to make sure
yeah.
I got that correct. Because if it was the 83
Yeah.
inches by 58, that would be a different story.
Yeah, that's to the ground.
Okay, great. All right, we already talked about the lighting for the freestanding sign, so you'll work on that. And so I think that is all the questions I have. Does anybody on the board have any questions?
Diane, do you have any questions?
Sorry. No, it all sounds good.
Okay.
Oh,
I
Eric,
do not. Thank
do you have any questions?
Yeah.
All right. I think
Thank you
we're
so
done.
much, Erin. So we will make a decision. We will send our decision to Jessica. As soon as Jessica gets it, she will send the decision to you.
Sounds good. Thank you.
You may want to work on the lighting on the sign because that could be sort of a contingency in the decision. So,
Yeah, in all honesty, there's a good chance I'm just not gonna light it for a while.
well, you just, you know, when it is lit, it will
Yeah.
have to conform
Yeah, of
to
course.
the,
Goes
yeah.
down.
And as I said,
Yeah.
Jessica can help you with any of that.
Okay.
Super. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you.
So I'm closing the hearing on that application. Thank you so much. And, what?
Can I go?
You may. Thank you. Oh, or you can hang. But no, you can go, Erin. Thank you. Okay, if you'd like to move over, that would be good. We're going to open the hearing on the application. Well, first I should say the next hearing on the application was withdrawn. So we do not have the hearing on application 2025-065 and 078. They have reapplied with the new application and we will hear that in July. So I'm opening the hearing on application 2025-012. The property address is 527 Boyd Hill Road. And I'm going to probably not do a good job on your name. Help me out. Dimitri is easy. Uralanov?
Ulyanov.
Thank you. And your address is the same as the property, 527 Boyd Hill Road?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay. The proposal, and I'm sorry, who is with you?
I'm John Ducros from Trinity Engineering.
Okay, super. And did you sign in on the, okay, perfect. And we have an abutter here as well? And you signed in. Thank you. So the proposal is to add an additional 6 bedrooms of short-term rental use to the current permitted 4-bedroom short-term rental use bringing the total to 10-bedroom short-term rental use in the residential district. The applicable code sections are section 221, 222, 223, 224, 226, 227, 271, and 272. And then in Article 4, Section 420, 450, and 440 and 450C, and Article 7, Section 710, 720, 721, 722, 730A, D, and H. So to the board, are there any conflicts of interest or ex parte discussions?
No.
Thank you. No. Diane?
No,
Thank you. And all who are going to testify, would you please raise your right hand? Thank you so much. Do you swear the testimony you provide is the whole truth and nothing but the truth? Terrific, thank you. Do you need any clarification on names,
Yes,
Crystal?
please. Trinity Engineering, John,
Dupras, D-U-P-R-A-S.
perfect. And our abutter is? Hi, Dale.
And as I said earlier, we take one of our members and ask them to be the case manager, and Crystal will be your case manager. She'll start with the questions. So thank you.
We should start with the questions.
Uh-huh.
Actually, I'm going to start with the exhibits. So I'm going to read off everything that we have that's part of your application. If there's anything that I don't list, let me know. Number 1, the zoning permit staff report from Jessica, 2 pages. Number 2, the town of Wilmington cover sheet. Number 3, the notice of hearing. Number 4, application for DRB review, which is 3 pages long. Number 5, the short-term rental safety checklist. Number 6, the architectural drawing with parking spots drawn on. That was 2 pages long. Number 7, a parcel map and image. Number 8, drawing of the detached building layout with first and second floor. Number 9, a layout diagram showing first floor, 1 bedroom. Number 10, layout diagram, second floor, 4 bedrooms. Number 11, layout diagram, third floor, 3 bedrooms. Number 12, an engineering drawing for wastewater and disposal system dated 4/11/2025. Number 13, the wastewater system and potable water supply permit application, the signature page that was dated 15 April 2025. Number 14 is the email confirmation from the State Department DEC for receipt of that wastewater and potable water application dated 4/22/2025. That was 2 pages long. Number 15 is a copy of email correspondence between the zoning administrator and DEC staff for clarification on number of rooms that pertain to this application. That's 4 pages. And then number 16, I have a list of the abutters with a date stamp, which was on 5/29/2025.
Excuse me, we have someone on Zoom. Would you identify yourself, please?
Yes, my name is Ian Fear. I'm a resident at 557 Boyd Hill Road for the third matter on the agenda.
And so you're an abutter as well?
I'm in a butter of, the proposal to increase the number of bedrooms to 10 on Boyd Hill Road.
Ian, what's your last name?
Fear, F-I-E-R.
Thank you.
And are you going to want to testify tonight?
I might want to say a few words.
So would you do me a favor? Would you please raise your right hand? Thank you. Do you swear the testimony you provide is the whole truth and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Crystal.
All right. Anything else in that application you guys have? That's what I should.
Nope, that's all I have.
Excellent. All right. So before we begin, if you want to just tell me in your own words a little bit about what you're wanting to do.
Yes, so my name is Dmitry Ulyanov. I'm the owner of the property. I own it for maybe 5 years, and I have a permit to rent for 4 bedrooms. So we want to increase it to 10 bedrooms. And the reason is because 4 bedrooms is too little. For example, my family has 3 kids, and if I take my mother-in-law, only my small family would need 5 bedrooms because the kids are all different ages. So that's what I want to increase that, and I want to get your approval for this change.
I'm going to interrupt 1 second. Again, I just want to be sure everybody on Zoom can understand and hear. We can add another microphone over there if we need to. Diane, you're good?
yeah.
Great, thank you. Sorry.
So just to clarify, the 10 bedrooms that you're requesting in the permit, that includes bedrooms only in the main house, or that also includes bedrooms in the secondary unit?
No, so it would be 8 bedrooms in the main house and 2 bedrooms in the second unit.
Okay.
And sorry for my voice, I just got some cold, so.
That's okay.
Okay.
No, I just want, I mean, we can get another mic if we need it.
And can I clarify that as well?
Yes, please.
So he does not have a secondary unit because the other unit doesn't have a kitchen. So it's one unit. It's actually an accessory building. It's part of the one. He's only got a permit for one dwelling. Even though it's in multiple buildings, he doesn't have 2 units because in order to have an ADU, he would need a kitchen, which that accessory building doesn't have. It only has bedrooms.
So even though it's
They're kind of
2
detached
buildings,
buildings.
it's considered 1 unit.
That's right.
Thank you.
And just for clarity, we're calling it a detached garage. Is this what we've been using as the language for it?
It's an accessory building is what I would call it.
Okay.
With
It's a
bedrooms.
detached garage.
Well, it's not a garage anymore. It's
Right.
Well, it was.
Used to be.
It was a detached
Yeah.
But
garage
it's
with
no-
an office up above.
correct, yes.
But it's no longer used for garage. It's now all rooms.
Correct.
It's a unique situation.
Okay, so there's a main house and an accessory building, and we're counting the 10 bedrooms across the entire space?
Yes.
Okay, great,
Mhm.
thank you. All right, and a total of 10 across both. All right, great. Okay, so I'm gonna start going through all the different articles that are in the zoning. Article 2 talks about the administrative procedures that apply for this hearing. It talks about or provides the guidelines for administrative procedures associated with our zoning regulations. It outlines the role of the Development Review Board, what development requires our review and written decision, what requirements exist for a complete application. It talks about how the DRB makes its decisions, the process to follow if you want to make a change after you've gotten our decision. It talks about that there's public hearings, which are held by the DRB, which is why you're here. If you have a different opinion than ours after our decision, there are appeals that are allowed. That's handled by the Superior Court of Vermont Environmental Division. And also it outlines who can attend these hearings and be heard at them. And as you see, we swore in your butters, they're also allowed to be heard along with you. So we'll receive testimony from everyone. Do you have any questions about these administrative procedures or Article 2?
No.
Okay, great. So now we're going to look at Article 4, which specifically talks about the different districts that are in Wilmington and what uses are allowed in each one of those districts. You are currently in the residential district, 527 Boyd Hills in residential. And I just wanted to touch base on the purpose of the residential district. So the residential district purpose, to provide areas for dwelling and low impact uses with consideration being given to historic settlement patterns, aesthetics, natural resources, and economic vitality. Lands in this district are already committed to residential development and comprise the remainder of land in town not designated in any other districts. That's irrelevant. No, I read that. Okay, so basically it's just clarifying that really the point of the residential district is to provide areas for dwelling and low impact uses. So if you could help us understand when you're increasing the number of rooms available to be used in your house, do you see that, how do you see that fitting into low impact?
Well, I have 25 acres of land and I have plenty of forestry and so there should be no impact for the neighbors because of the increase of the number of bedrooms that people can use.
Okay. Purposes and uses. Okay. Any questions from the DRB about Article 4?
Have you been in contact with the Vermont Fire Marshal about the increase in rooms?
Not yet. I wanted first to have a meeting and then we can have a contact with the fire marshal.
So,
Go ahead, Diane. Yes?
so I'm just saying, short-term rental, are we talking about how many? I'm looking at the application, up to 24 guests in a 10-bedroom, single-family residence within the residential district. Is that what's being applied here? It's just,
I believe so, yeah, yes,
That's what you requested,
Yes.
24 guests,
correct.
10
doesn't that
bedrooms.
become like a hotel or motel? I mean, that doesn't sound like short-term, that doesn't sound like.
No, this is not hotel, this is single residence. It's will not be a hotel or motel. I will not be renting individual rooms to different parties.
So I can speak a little bit on that, just from a letter we have from fire marshals. You will need a change of use and a change of occupancy permit from the fire marshals. There's 3 tiers. The first one is up to 8 people, which is where you are right now. And then the next is from 9 to 16 people. For that, you'll need a change of use and a change of occupancy. Anything above 16 people, they do classify as a motel hotel. And they'll give you a special permit for that. That's not us, though, that's the fire marshal.
So do we have anything in here from the fire marshal?
Just the short-term rental safety checklist, but that's not from the fire marshal, it's from their department. but
There's
not-
not
So-
the fire marshals yet.
So we don't have anything from the fire marshal
You
as
don't
yet.
have any determination, correct? Because under 8, which is what he has now, he doesn't need anything.
Correct.
And you haven't reached out to them yet for
Correct.
anything more.
Correct. I did not reach to them because I wanted first to get this meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
So he can do
That's on
either
the
first.
to-do
There's nothing
That's
that
on the
gets
to-do
one or
list.
the other. He does have to eventually go.
Hold
Jessica,
on,
can you
Diane. Go ahead,
speak-
Diane.
I just need Jessica to either speak into the microphone a little more or, because she's hard to
And
hear.
he said that he can do them both together or one after another. There's no, there's nothing that says he has to do one before the other, but he does just have to have both of them done before he can open. He needs a state and a local permit.
Is your microphone on?
Doesn't sound like
Hear
it's
me or
on.
no?
Your red light is on. There you go.
There you go.
I'm sorry, can you hear me now? Diane?
It's just as bad, but okay.
Oh, no, you need a different one?
Pass a different.
I don't know, maybe it's just because you're the
Let's try a
furthest-
different mic.
There you go. That's-
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
All right, I'll give a quick recap of what I said. He's got a permit right now from me for the first tier, which is with the fire marshals, 1 to 8 people. He doesn't need any special permits for that. For the next tier, which is 9 to 16 people, he will need a change of use and a change of occupancy permit from the fire marshals, as well as from us.
Yes.
After 16 people, the fire marshals will designate him as a hotel or motel. In their estimate, we don't have that in our bylaws, but that's their designation. He does need his permits from the state and us, but he doesn't need them, like, there's nothing that says which order that needs to be in. And he has not reached out to the fire marshals yet,
Got it.
okay?
Okay. Anything else before Krista goes ahead? Thank you.
All right, so now we're gonna look at Article 7, which talks about all the different use performance standards. Specifically, there's a whole bunch of things similar to how John was asking questions about noise and lighting and all those things. We'll go through all of those now, okay?
Yes.
So Article 7 discusses the standards that apply to all uses in land development. We're gonna start with 7.10, talking about use performance standards. The first one has to do with vibrations. Any continuous, permanent, ongoing, or frequent vibrations shall not be discernible at the property line. Do you predict any sort of vibrations at the property line?
No vibrations.
As far as noise, no continuous, permanent, ongoing, or frequent noise in excess of that of a normal conversation. It must not exist at the property boundary line.
No noise.
Are you aware that we have quiet hours in our zoning between 9 PM and 7 AM?
I know where that.
Okay.
Mhm.
And if you do you list the property on some sort of port, like Airbnb or VDR?
Yes, I list them on, and I also list the quiet hours.
Yes.
So all the guests know that specifically.
So you mentioned, so how many STR guests could you have at one time in that house? 24?
10 bedrooms you
So,
listed.
so right now we have 4 bedrooms and 8 people. What we're asking is for 10 bedrooms and 24 people.
So you are listing it on a STR, like a short-term rental site, and could potentially rent it to a party of 24 or mixed?
No, right now what we have is we're listed as a 4-bedroom house and.
No, what you are going to list it at? What are you going to list it at?
Yes.
If this were approved, what would you list it as?
Yes, if this would be approved, I want to list it as a 10 bedrooms and 24 people.
Do you have any concerns about that many people and the impact that it might have on any neighbors or?
Not really, because usually it's much less people that rent the place. And it's a short-term rental, so they don't rent for a long period of times. They might rent for a couple of days, 2-3 days. And I do vet my guests and usually rent to people who have good reviews, because this is my personal house. I'm not a manager. I am living in this town, and I want to respect the town and the neighbors. And my goal is to have a nice business that respects everybody.
And when people are staying in the house, where do you stay?
I have another house also.
Okay, but you're not here in Wilmington, it's in another city?
Not here in Wilmington. no,
Okay.
no.
Do you have someone else in town that can respond if there's any complaints? Or?
Yes, I have people who can respond to any complaints. And also if I stay 30 minutes from here in Newfield, so it's a
Okay.
30-minute drive.
Okay, so you're nearby, just not.
Correct.
Okay.
Mhm.
Just, and what Jessica just handed out to us was the Department of Public Safety rules on the different designations. So the single family being 1 to 8 guests, or what's required, then single family 9 to 16, and above 16 is a hotel motel. So that's what she just handed out, and we can ask her to send that to you.
Okay.
Okay. All right, will there be any air emissions?
So, I'm sorry. So you're saying that you live there when you rent it out to visitors? So.
No, I don't live at the house when the house is rented. When the house is rented, I go to my other house in Newfane.
Okay. Okay.
All right, so still in section 710, under those use performance standards, there shall be no operations or use that creates electromagnetic, liquid or solid refuse or waste, heat, cold, dampness, explosive, fire, glare, or other hazard.
No,
All right, now I'm going to talk to you about conditional use general standards. Basically, anything that's proposed to be done in Wilmington has to fulfill these standards. The proposed use shall protect against any adverse effect on the capacity of communities or, educational facilities. We can't do anything in town that would inhibit that, which this is not per se. The impact on traffic, roads, highways, transportation systems, pedestrian walkways in the vicinity. What is the 24 people, 6 to 8 cars, I'm assuming, it would take for that many people to make it to your property? Do you see that as having any sort of negative impact on your road? I know it's
no negative impact. I have plenty of parking place on my property near my houses. So, so there is more than plenty of parking.
Is there any reason why the parking would ever impact the road? Meaning you have enough space where the house is located? It seems like there's space between.
I have enough space. I have 25 acres. In my past rentals, nobody ever parked on the street on Boyd Hill Road.
Okay.
So you don't have any garages left anymore, though?
I don't have garages at my property.
So all the parking has to be in the driveway?
Correct, in my driveway. Mhm.
Thank you.
Of course.
All right. So yeah, the last one on general standards says the character, aesthetics, and scenic value of the neighborhood and area affected as defined by the purpose of the zoning district, which I already read, which the project is located, and also it can't have any negative impact on stated policies and standards of our ordinance and the town plan. So do you see any reasons why this use would affect the character, aesthetics, or scenic value of the neighborhood?
No.
All right, so now we're going to go to section 730.
I just want to say to the abutters, anytime you have a question or anything, please feel free to raise your hands. You don't have to wait or anything. So if you hear something and you want to ask a question, please feel free.
Thank you.
All right, so specifically in 7:30, we're going to talk about a few key things. One being lighting. Are you introducing any new lighting to the property or the?
No, I don't.
Okay. Parking. So per the zoning ordinance, the parking is 0.75 parking spaces for every room that you offer. So that would be 7.5 parking spaces required. I know you presented in your application the drawing.
Yes.
It was 2 pages, so it's difficult for me to see, but I think you had on there, how many spots, 7? Or do you recall?
I believe we have 7, but in reality, I have much more parking place for cars.
Let me see.
Yeah, it has 8. If you look, it says 8.
Do you mind if I look at that for a second? I didn't print that page.
Under 7 car, it has the
Oh,
8
okay.
car. So I think he does have
Okay.
8.
And these were generally the 10 feet wide by 18 feet,
Correct.
Okay. or
Mhm.
whatever it is. 8 feet,
Yes.
might be the other way around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. I don't understand this orientation, but okay, that's fine. All right, so we have 8 spaces that are listed and 7.5 are required. All right, so now we're going to talk about the wastewater and the potable water. So in your application was the submittal to the state, and I'm assuming that's why you're here.
Right.
Yeah. So maybe talk to me a little bit about what's going on with the septic and the water.
Right, there's an existing mound on the site that'll be abandoned
Okay.
in place, and there's a new mound in generally the same location, just downhill from that. And we'll have new septic tanks, new pump chambers, and that's currently under review by the wastewater division at the moment.
Okay, and they received that back in, I think it was dated like April.
Right, they,
end of
yeah, they
April.
received it, so that letter shows it's administratively complete, so everything that needs to be in the application is there. Now it's going through technical review.
Okay, gotcha. Is that with Jeff Speck?
Jeff Speck, yeah.
Yeah. And if he has any questions, he contacts you about those?
He does. So the technical review, if he has questions, it comes to us and then we respond to those.
Okay,
Yeah.
and the new system is meant to support 20, or it's based
It's
on?
actually over-designed from what you have here in this application. So it'll support 12 bedrooms, tanks and fields, so that, you know, if he wanted to expand in the future, he could come back in to you guys
Okay.
and others. And
So what's the occupancy on that?
24 people?
20, so
12
12 bedrooms,
yeah.
24 people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that application is, all right.
Yeah, that's under review.
But so just to be clear, what you just said is that the system is engineered for 24 people, but that's what he's already asking for with 10 bedrooms.
Yeah,
So if he-
sometimes people are allowed to do that. They can over-design their septic and build it that way. And then when they decide to add that bedroom to their house or whatever, they can come into zoning and just bump it out and all the paperwork's in order.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is you just said it's for 24 people and he's already asking for 24 people.
Right, so it's and again, when I do this wastewater code, I have to work through their system. So it's 2 people per bedroom, so
Okay.
it's 12 bedrooms.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And we had to, like Jessica and I had a conversation, we had to call that an ADU because there's
Yes.
bedrooms over there in that
Yes.
building.
Okay.
Right, they had to call that on the state side an ADU, but we don't call it an ADU
Yeah.
on our side, or he would need to have a permit for that ADU. And I couldn't give a permit because it doesn't have a kitchen. So we have really 2 different measurements. But overall, we've got 10 bedrooms, 24 people.
Yeah, as long as we understand the system is going to be sufficient
It is.
for the
yes.
number of people that he's
Yeah.
requesting. Okay, great. And the only piece I don't think I have is once they approve it, then there's a specific timeline, obviously, to build out the system.
No, because this is a new build out, so the permit will be filed in land records and it doesn't expire.
Okay.
Yeah, but
And then how long would it take before he'll be able to actually utilize the new system?
as soon as it's constructed, it'll be good to go. Once it's inspected, we'll do an inspection and so that gets into sort of when the permit will be issued and how fast you can get a contractor and how busy people are. It could happen this year, but I'm not really sure. We haven't gotten that far.
Right, and he can give me an as-built inspection so that we know that it's built as it was meant to be built.
Yeah, when the inspection's done, there's an installation certification letter and that gets filed in the land records too. So that'll close that permit out.
Okay. All right. Does anyone have any other questions?
Potable
about-
water?
Yeah, was there a new?
What about potable water?
The well is also covered by the wastewater permit. We're going to use the existing well. They're going to have to make sure the well provides 10 gallons a minute and meets the daily demand of the 24 people. So right now, what we do in this situation is when we want to take that well and expand it, we'll first have to get the wastewater permit. And then part of the installation certification is to come in and say, here's how we're meeting this. So we may need to drill that deeper. We may need to frack it. The simplest situation is we need 5 gallons a minute for each, I'm going to call it a living unit in wastewater world. So if we can get the well to provide 10 gallons a minute, we put a 10 gallon a minute pump down there. Done. We've met the instantaneous demand for each unit. And then if not, we start looking at using the well storage casing. So we could probably work with a 4 gallon per minute yield on a 600-foot deep well. And there's a calculation for that. So that happens after the permit's issued and before the installation certification. And we've been talking to Gary Line from Line Well Drilling, so he'll probably be doing the work.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'd also like to bring up, his permit is conditioned on that wastewater permit. So he couldn't use it until we got that permit, that wastewater permit.
That's true.
Filed with
Yeah,
us.
that's right.
Hey, could I ask a question?
Sure.
How do I ensure with this massive well that's being constructed that it's not going to adversely impact my well and the water table on my property? Because as you see the lines on that, I talked to the engineer, the line that they draw around their exclusion zone does come onto my property. I don't believe it's on top of my well or close to my well, but obviously when, you just mentioned fracking, you're talking about other drilling that's going to go on. What assurances are being taken to make sure that I don't lose my well functionality and the water that I have access to on my property?
So we provided you with a plan that's given to the abutters as part of the wastewater abutter notification. I remember we had a call.
Yes.
Talking about this. And so there's a well shield around this proposed well, and that extends onto your property. And that well shield is the area where the yield, the water that this well is going to use is anticipated to come from. And so that's following the guidelines from the state. In terms of fracking, I'm not a fracking expert. But to frack your well that far away would be a challenge. It's not a crazy amount of water. Anytime you have any site where you've got a house and an ADU, you need 10 gallons a minute. So it's becoming more and more common that we have to do this, and it's happening more often. So what we're told to follow is that footprint, that well shield that circles that well, that's the area where the water would come from. So your well is, I don't have an exact location, but you're probably at least 600 or 800 feet away from this. I'm just guessing by the red dot in the locust plant. So well beyond.
Is that C1? Is that sheet C1?
Yes, C1, correct, in the upper left. Yeah.
I'm seeing like there's two purple, like a purple circle and then an outer purple circle.
Yes, so I'm sorry, we're drilling a new well. That was my mistake. We initially tried to drill that or use that first well, but it's too close to the existing sewer, so we can't use it. But yeah, we're going to drill a new well and abandon the old one. And so it's the bluish, purplish one that you see, that's the proposed well.
And how far is the abutter, are the abutters wells?
So well beyond 300 feet, because of the history.
I'm sorry.
I've seen,
I'm speaking about this abutter.
Okay, and
This is the abutter that has spoken, and I'm answering that question.
okay, and Mr. Doucette is speaking now.
Yeah, he's interrupting, but so this well is well over 300 feet away from Mr.
Mr. Fryer.
Right. And I say that because his house doesn't even appear on our map. So if you're asking me how far away his well is, I don't know, but it's well away from where we are, because I can see on this map that the houses are.
We just lost our,
No,
something.
they shrunk.
So I'm looking
Oh,
at
that's because someone is sharing.
I'm sharing, I'm looking at the map.
Sharing?
Right. C1.
Okay, Mr. Doucette had something to say.
Go ahead.
My well is only probably 10 or 12 feet from the property line below the septic system. I'm about 300 feet from the pool and the existing septic system. I'm not exactly sure because I didn't receive any information from these folks.
That's false.
It is not false. Are you the one that hung up on me on the phone, by the way? I got nothing from that. I came down to talk to Jessica and she filled in our information.
We didn't.
Let's one at a time.
We had to just put a filtering system in on our water system to clarify our house water, because all of a sudden.
Can he speak into a microphone?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, let's give one of those. Make sure it's turned on. You can hang on to it.
Okay, great.
Very well.
Thank you, John.
I was saying, we just had to put a filtering system in on our water system because our water started getting very dirty and all kinds of things in it. So whether my concern overall was nothing personal, Dimitri, but you've been renting there since you've owned the house to a lot of people. And I think the septic system existing might be a little bit over challenged at this point. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not an expert, but I reached out to these guys, talked to, I don't know if it was him or not, but ended up hanging up on me on the phone. That's why you reached out to me, because he probably reached out to you. But whatever, here we are.
So, okay, what I need to understand is how far, so you're drilling a new well and you're putting in a new septic system.
So
may I finish my question? How far is the new well from the current well, and how far is the new septic system from the current septic system?
So the new well is proposed to be 80 feet up gradient of the existing well, 80 feet further away from this gentleman's well at the present time. Approximate distances, the question that was asked earlier is how far is this well from Mr. Fryer's? And that's about the houses are about 500 feet apart. So his house, his well, if it's near his house, is about 500 feet away. Right, Mr. Fryer's.
The new well.
The new well is about 500 feet away from Mr. Fryer's well.
How about from Mr. Doucette's?
Over 300 feet, probably. So it's 480 feet to the property line. And then he said it's 10 or 15 feet onto his property. And just for the record, we do a couple hundred projects a year and we notify all the abutters, and calls come in occasionally. If the abutters he was notified, and I have a green card to show that. So we have, a abutter notification. That's why he called me, because he received our drawing. And I went over this and he contended that the well was on that this separation distance from the septic system was conflicting with his existing well, and that the property line was off. So I offered to go out there. I would go out there and shoot the well and show it on our plan. Our plan doesn't show it because it's beyond the study area. It's so far away that it doesn't even appear on the scale of the map.
Okay, well, obviously,
But it was very
the
combative.
abutter is confused and concerned.
Well,
which
I'd
we
say more
understand.
combative
Both
and
are.
did verbalize to me on the phone that he would be against this project. And so that we oftentimes get this where people want to use a certain thing to just drill down on it and be against it. So
We appreciate that. Thank you. Now, my other question, so you are abandoning not only the original well, but you're also abandoning the
Right.
original septic system.
right.
And where are you building the new septic system?
Just downhill from the old septic system. Just over-
So does that mean it's closer to Boyd Hill Road?
It's further to the south, so it's closer to this gentleman's property line. But there's a distance around that septic system where you cannot have a well. And that distance is entirely on Dimitri's property. Doesn't even extend onto this gentleman's property. Right? You want me to show you the map?
No, you can just explain it to me.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is, and I understand that there has to be a difference between the septic system and the next person's
The
well.
separation distance around the septic system,
Mhm.
that separation distance is entirely on Dimitri's property. It doesn't enter onto his land.
Well,
Meaning
that's
the
a good thing.
footprint of the new septic system is contained within his property.
That's right.
Correct,
You can
yes.
see it up.
The well-
Diane, I think you're trying to ask some questions.
Right here, my cursor, this is over your septic, that's
Yeah,
the
that's
new
right.
septic. And then this is this location of the new well, and this is the old well?
The new well is in blue. You're hovering over the new well right now.
New well, okay.
The old well,
and
you
this-
were hovering over first.
This one,
That's right.
that's right, that's the new well,
No, that's the existing well.
existing well, okay. New well. And your
Yeah.
new well,
That's correct. That's the new well right there.
right here. And
Yep.
this concentric, this circle here indicates,
We put a 50-foot circle around that so that people, when they're building this, are aware that, the building sewer lines are kept outside of that. There's an intermediate circle that we use for construction. Then the larger circle is the area where there can't be a septic system. So we check that area to make sure there's no septic system in that footprint, and there isn't.
okay,
And you also, I presume, check the existing septic to be sure that there's no failure of that septic,
It's going to be abandoned. And
right?
so what you would do with a septic field is just leave it alone. If you pick up the sand and move it, you have to put it somewhere
Yeah,
outside of the
right.
well shield.
but have you confirmed that the
It's not
existing
failed.
septic is not
It's
failing?
not failed. No.
That was my question.
Can I just clarify the chain of events there? And Ian and Jessica, Ian is the one who notified me what was going on here.
Okay, well, we apologize for that. We'll make sure that, Jessica, would you be so kind?
No,
as to make sure that.
I went to Jessica to get the
already gotten
information, and that's how
everything?
I got this gentleman's information.
Okay,
And when I called him, he accused me of just wanting a fight and hung up on me. So there we
well,
go.
we apologize for that. We'll certainly make sure that nothing like that happens again. So
He's not
thank you.
talking about our notification. He's talking about the wastewater.
I know,
Okay.
yes. So, okay, Diane, before we move on, do you have any other questions on what you're sharing, or do either of the abutters have any questions?
I was not aware that, that Dale Doucette had to put in a filtration system for whatever reason. And again, I'm not an expert and not sure if it's at all related, but we just also had to put in a water filtration system. We had a company called Lined Drilling come and had to put a mitigation system on our well because of contaminants that were after 5 years in the house. For the first time, we started getting contaminants in the water and had to put a mitigation system in place. I don't know if it's coincidental or whatever the case is, and I was unaware that Mr. Doucette did the same thing, for what it's worth.
Thank you. Okay, so where did you stand? Sorry, we've been
No,
interrupting you.
no, it's not interrupting.
We're going well.
7, of Article 7. Yeah, I think we've
So I'm not sure how everyone feels. Diane, I am concerned that we're looking at something much bigger than the scope of anything we have in our residential district currently. And I would feel more comfortable if I actually had a site visit. I'm not sure how everybody else feels.
I think it's a good idea.
I think it's a good idea.
yeah,
Diane?
yes.
Okay, so what we do in that case is when the board feels that we need to actually go there. So the way that works is we set an appointment. We have to look at all of our schedules. We'll look at your schedule. We'll be sure it's a time when you or someone is available. I'm not sure whether we want to go inside, but we will definitely want to see all the outside. We'll want to see where the well is, where all of those things are. And we will also probably ask We won't ask any questions, but we will take the information with us and we'll look to see where your parking spaces are.
Of course.
We do not ask any questions on a site visit. It's not a continuation of testimony.
Right.
It's just a time for the board to be able to feel comfortable, because what we will do, we'll continue to the site visit. We will then continue to another hearing date. And those are always tough to come up with, but we'll start looking at calendars right now, because when we make this decision, we make this decision at this time, so you'll know when we're going to come for our site visit and what the next hearing date is gonna be. So you're gone the 7th? Is that right?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So Diane, when are you back in town?
Tomorrow.
Okay,
Tomorrow.
so
I'm back tomorrow.
and when do you leave?
The 5th of July.
Okay, so we could do the site visit before you leave. When is everybody available for the follow-up hearing?
What are we thinking? Is it like right around the?
If John is not available on the 7th, it will have to be, the next possible date would be the 21st.
We're talking July?
Are you here the 21st, Diane? Or are you available on Zoom?
Yes. So, I mean, I do have a question for the engineer before we close this too.
Sure.
I mean, it's one thing to go on a site, but it's another thing to be looking at these maps and we draw circles and we have a pretty good understanding of like maybe where the ground water table is. And again, I'm a little out of my reach here, but I've heard, I know it can happen that, another well is drilled and it depletes or sucks the groundwater from a neighboring one. And it's very hard geographically, to understand, what's happening underground. And sometimes it's not distance that is the.
You're right. It's complex. We would need to know a lot of things that we don't study, right? Like.
Right. Right. You're not doing like kind of, that kind of probing. So what recourse is there for the
Well,
neighbor?
so then what you would do is you would, not being an expert like many of us are not, you would look at the code and you would use the wastewater code, which is presumed to be protected in these sorts of things. And the well shield tells you the area. So if we drill another well within someone's well shield and I start fracking that well, what do you think is going to happen? Those two wells are competing for water. So that's called interference. There's a presumption of interference. There is no other well in that well shield. So that's one of the things that the state looks at. If even if I have my septic out of somebody else's well, but then I go to pull up to your property line and drill a new well within 100 feet of your well, we're interfering with each other in terms of water quantity. The abandoning the old well is a positive thing because it's a short circuit to the water table. So you want to abandon that, and that's a professional term. Gary Lind is the one that will be drilling this. He's drilled Mr. Fryer as well. You could speak with him and talk to him, and he could assuage some of your concerns about the distance at which he can frack and where those seams could be opened up. I doubt that he's expanding ledge seams 500 feet away. But I'd let him speak to that. He's much more of an expert. But even if you're siting a public well, you need to think about interference, and you always put down all the wells and all the well shields, and you can't drill a new well within the well shield of another well without thinking about interference. So that's the topic, and that's how we approach it by using the code. We've been doing it since 1997, and I haven't heard of one instance where we've depleted someone else's, water.
Anything else, Diane, before we look at a date for our site visit?
No.
So what's everybody thinking?
This week? I mean, I can do it this week.
I can't do it.
This week I can't do it.
Are you working this
I
week?
can show
What's
tomorrow.
everybody's schedule?
Yeah, I would really like to see that accessory bedroom building because it's so unique. So I'd like to be there. I can't do this week.
Can we do next?
I can do
Tuesday,
next
24th?
week.
I could do Monday, the 23rd. 24th, I'm headed north to babysit.
I can
What
do
about
the
Friday, the
24th.
20th?
You can or can't? You
Okay.
can.
Okay.
I'm on
Are
vacation.
you, Diane, are you back in on the 23rd? Can you do the 23rd?
I can do the 23rd, but at the end of the day, not during work.
Well,
So
have
we've
5
got a
o'clock
hearing,
planning.
right? We've got a hearing that night.
Ugh,
What time would you be available on the 23rd?
yeah, I can't.
I can probably make anything work, but later afternoon is better.
So can we do, so you couldn't be available till after 5, Diane?
Yeah,
So I'm not available then because I have to be here for planning. 24th, I'm supposed to be up north babysitting. If we were gonna do it on the 24th, I'd have to do it very early.
I feel like you're very early is not the same as.
We could do it very early.
What about the 27th? It's a Friday.
I can do it.
Will you be back the 27th, Cheryl?
I've got to check with David. It would probably be, if I was gonna do it on the 27th, I'd probably want to make it as late as possible in the day.
Well, and we've got the whole next week too.
I mean, I just have to check in because he and Tyne are going away, so it's not.
July
like-
1st? How about that? It's a Tuesday.
For me,
I got nothing on July 1st.
Oh, we hit it.
How about you, Diane, July 1st?
so I think that's doable.
Yes?
Yeah,
Okay, what time does everybody want on July 1st?
I have a 10 o'clock meeting.
You have a 10 o'clock.
So
do you
10 to
wanna do
11
it
I
at
can't do.
1?
Yeah.
1 o'clock, Diane?
can we do anything in the like early morning or
9?
late in the day?
She's got a 10 o'clock. I mean, I can do it anytime on the 1st, so
You wanna do it on-
everybody just
Okay, good.
figure it out.
Can we do it at 9?
Jessica has to be back here by 10.
I could do a 9.
9
I can go
o'clock?
straight
Is
there.
that too late for you, Diane?
Yeah.
No, I think 9 o'clock is okay.
9 o'clock, or how about in the afternoon, like 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock?
What's best, Diane? 9 o'clock or later in the day?
Probably the morning is better.
Okay, so 9 o'clock on the 1st? Yes, yes, yes.
Are you?
Okay.
available? Now, are you available?
Say that with,
Is someone available to be at your property at 9 o'clock on July 1st?
I can be
Yes,
there.
yes.
Okay,
Can you
so
be there?
do you have currently anything in the ground? Because remember, we can't ask
It's all
questions.
staked out. Yeah.
So if you could just have something.
It's all
so
staked out. Yeah.
We'll just,
So the stake where the well goes and the 4 corners. of the
Yeah.
septic. Yep.
yes, and abutters are welcome to come to the site visit, but the number one thing is none of us are allowed to ask any questions. There's no testimony. There's anything like that. It's just go, look, and say thank you. Okay, so, and then
I might.
Oh, okay, sorry.
so then the continuation of your hearing, again, due to everybody's schedules, is not going to be until July 21st. It will be here, 5 o'clock on July 21st.
I thought we said July 1st.
No, she's talking about the site visit. is
July 1st is the site visit.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The continuation of the hearing is going to be July 21st.
Okay. Thank you.
And everybody said they're good, right? Are you available on July 21st?
Yes, I will make myself available.
Super, thank you so much. We appreciate it, and this hearing is now continued. As I said, the site visit on the 1st at 9 a.m. and the continuation of the hearing on July 21st at 5 p.m. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. John.
Thank you.
So, just for me to understand the procedure, because I'm new to this. So we have the site visit, Do you want me to be there or you don't?
It's entirely up to you.
Or-
You can tell us anything you want to tell us. We cannot ask any questions.
That's,
But you can be there and point anything out, or you can have your engineer do it for you, whatever works for you.
yeah, it would be, I mean, John will be there to be straightforward
Uh-huh.
and also.
I mean, we will be looking at the parking spaces as well as the well and all that.
Of course, also you will see, I did cut some trees, so you will see that the proposed new septic field is literally like 10 feet from the old one. And so you will see everything.
Okay,
And then on the 21st, we have another meeting
here,
about my kids, yeah?
yes,
Yeah.
All right.
that'll be back here.
Cool.
Yes,
Thank you.
super, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you, bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Okay, I'm gonna go shut the door and we'll stop the
Stop recording.
Yep.